Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about the earliest 11 depictions of Jesus Christ in history in the archaeological record. They're on mosaics mostly, or they're reliefs or statues, kind of, or stuff like this. And it's quite interesting because from about the 5th century, you see quite a classical depictions of Jesus Christ. Before then, though, and there are really not that many, they go back into time and you see them more Roman-looking. And there are 10 and an 11th, an honorary 11th, that I'm going to leave till the end. I think that's going to be quite interesting for you to see. And yeah, we're just going to quickly breeze through, and it's going to help us understand that none of these date to the 1st century, which is quite interesting. Only 2 or 3 date to the 2nd, and I mean they're pretty basic, but it does help to us to all understand that really it was the 2nd century where we get the much more of an impact, an activity around Jesus in history at all. It's the 2nd century that this stuff seems to explode into the world. Not the first. It helps to, it all portends towards an understanding here that really there wasn't much going on in the 1st century. So I'm going to share my screen in a little bit, and we're going to see what's what. So yeah, I'm going to go through my book here. I'm just going to put that back on there. Oh, no, I don't have to do it, do I? Cool. So let's start reading on the onto the archaeological depictions of Jesus through though. We will list the important finds that consist of the oldest depictions running back in time from newest to oldest. So we have the St. Catherine's Monastery, Egypt, where the Codex Vaticanus was also discovered. It is a Byzantine icon and is truly exquisite. It dates, however, to around 550 CE. And don't be fooled, though, this is still one of the oldest known depictions of Jesus Christ. And it is, where is it? It's right here. You'll probably have seen this before. It's beautiful, really lovely. You see it often, and wall art and stuff, and lots of people know this, and that's very cool. Number 2, we have the Israeli town of Shivta, where a curly-haired and beardless Jesus can be found, faintly detected, though the image is by now thoroughly worn. It was discovered in 2018 and also dates to around the 500s. And this is, where is it? It's going to come up in a second. Oh, Jesus. Come on. Yeah, there you go. That's it. It's really, it's a young face, certainly. Apparently a depiction of Jesus, extremely worn. That's the 2nd. Sorry. The number 3 is the Mausoleum of Gaia Placida in Ravenna, Italy, dating to the early 400s. It boasts a beautiful depiction of Jesus as the Good Shepherd, again with curly hair and no beard. The art is a mosaic and is vivid and highly ornate. And that would be this one right here. Beautiful. Very cool. But again, a kind of Roman kind of tunic going on here. Golden embossed with the halo, of course. Wonderful stuff. I'm going to actually shut these down as I go through. Yeah, why not? And then we have, where's my fucking, sorry guys. Apologies. Okay. Where are we now? Basilica. The next is noteworthy as it is the first to depict Jesus on a cross. It is in the Santa Sabina Basilica in Rome, the headquarters of the Dominican order, that dates to 425 AD. To 425. What am I doing? Bad spelling, Christian. Here of this site. Hang on. Here on the cypress wood doors of the basilica is the oldest ecclesiastical basilica in Rome and one of the oldest in the world. We find the earliest depiction of Jesus crucified between 2 thieves, coming on 300 years after the fact, however. So this is again 300 years after the fact. It's going to be this one right here. Might be able to see that. It's quite interesting again. Fairly basic, but that's is it third, fourth. Oh dear, here we go again. Let's shut that down now. Get this back up. Sorry, this is not the most wonderful video in the world, but we'll continue. The next we have is an exemplary example of the 4th century art, this time in a catacomb again in Rome. The Catacomb of Comodilia gives us the first known bearded Jesus. It is indeed a fairly stereotypical fresco of Jesus, though again it only dates to the 300s. I really messed that one up, didn't I? So, when we got this one, oh no we don't, we have this, no we don't, we have this one, that's right, this is quite cool actually. So you see here, bearded Jesus. This is like one of the more common depictions of a Jesus we all kind of know today. Bearded for the first time though. Very nice, very nice. Going back now to the writing. So yeah, it's all fun and games, guys. This is the next image from the Catacombs of Mausoleum, and Peter depicts Jesus in typical Roman fashion, young, shaven, in Roman-style costume, and is rendered and is a rendering of Mark chapter 5, the woman touching the garments of Jesus. The garment is a tunic with purple stripes, notable as someone with authority. It has an identifiable Jewish tzitzit tassel, which the woman is touching, but it's interesting as a stylized idea of what a Jew probably would have worn around the time. This again dates to the 4th century, so 300s, and that would be, let me see here, this one, very cool and beautiful. Again, like Romanized though, very Roman looking. Of course, Christianity was really a Roman, well, larger kind of empire. Really, I don't want to say empire religion because it wasn't, but it was practiced in the empire, obviously. So you get this kind of depiction. Going back, I really messed this one up. I don't care. I'm going to keep on going. I don't mind, guys. Hope you are all right with this. We have the Hinton St. Mary mosaic, said to be the oldest depiction of Jesus within the ancient Roman Empire. It's found in Dorset, England, but again, it only dates to the 4th century, and this is still quite late. It features a Chi-Rho symbol, which is a symbol particular to Christianity. This mosaic helps us understand that Christianity was indeed accepted in the Roman Empire, of course. Now, where is that? So again, we're finding interesting things here. So Hinton. So this, yeah, Chi-Rho is pretty cool. It's a very interesting and ancient symbol of Chi-Rho. I will be focusing on this soon. It has quite a powerful occult meaning, actually. Very cool stuff there. Let's get rid of that. And that one as well. And this is the next one along. It's found on a. I'm going to read this out just so you guys get the full picture. We have next we have a sarcophagus lid upon which is depicted a nativity scene. This time with Jesus as a baby, Mary, Joseph, and 3 wise men are present. And the words "Servera in Deo vivas," Mary, may you live with God. Severa's image is depicted next to these words, likely the sarcophagus occupier, though we are now into the 3rd century. This is found again in Rome. Rome, yes. So we're back to here again. Did you see that picture, guys? Again, you can find all of this on the internet. Very nice, though. Again, it's beautiful. This is good art, guys. I'm not trying to say anything other than this is quite beautiful. It's just that it's piecemeal, really. At this time, we don't have much. Of course, and there'll be many more of these that are still buried and so on, but there's not. A lot of these areas are some of the most excavated areas in the world, and we don't see anything really coming to us early on and that is a little bit strange. Coming in number 3 on our list, this is St. Castillo, Good Shepherd, Catacombs of St. Castillo, Calixtus, dating again from the mid-3rd century, wearing a short tunic, looking quite young. Regalia, of course, typically Roman. Romans throughout the empire would not have found this image strange or out of place, as Hermes was also depicted just like the image of Jesus with the lamb. Little wink, wink, nudge, nudge, the Shepherd of Hamas, a fairly early Christian document. Again, Shepherd of Hamas, Christian document, but it's fairly pagan in its outlook. This is the, sorry. That's it. Here we go. Shepherds, lambs, sheep. Quite nice. Again, beautiful. Very old now. Going back to the 2nd century. And we're getting towards the end, guys. So thanks for staying in this. And now we have the Dura Europos site on the shores of the Euphrates River. An ancient city ruin found in Syria houses the second oldest depiction of Jesus in existence. This is in the oldest church ever found, though this is still in the 3rd century, 200s, yes, hundreds of years after the initial stirrings of this new messianic cult. Here we have the healing of the paralyzed man, dated around 235 CE, and this is noteworthy as it depicts a miracle. This is the oldest known proper depiction of Jesus in existence, and worthy, of course, of some considerable thought here is that no large-scale creation of any iconography exists of Jesus, nor anything yet found on a smaller scale. There may be some reason for this. This religion's Hebrew roots might have shunned the depiction of idols, but this is still a strange occurrence, as something that spread so quickly should give us more archaeological material to work with. It is tentatively possible to extend a theory that the reasons virtually nothing exists at all in the first 2 centuries is that Jesus was never indeed understood as a human being early on, and would not therefore have been depicted as such, his existence being precisely celestial in nature. Remember what we've been saying about the earliest Christians quite probably viewing Jesus just as a god. The notion, therefore, of any depiction of Jesus, of him crucified on earth, would with people around him, or as shepherds, would simply not have been meaningful to Christians of the earliest churches, those of the epistle writers, and Paul being one of them, who seem nowhere to be able to tell us anything at all regarding the gospel stories. And again, these epistle writers really only coming around in the 2nd century, as far as we can tell. Now, lastly, I'll show you that quickly. The Dura Europos site here, and you see this guy with the bed, the healing miracle. Again, it's obviously done by someone with some skill at the time, but again, we're only looking at the 3rd century, is it? Oh, geez. Where's my? Oh, yeah. So let me just go back and make sure I got that right. Yeah. So yeah, we're still looking at the 200s. This is when the 3rd century 200s. Yeah, this is 3rd century, guys. And now onto the most fun depiction and quite probably the first. It might be the first depiction of Jesus ever, but there's an interesting aspect about this we're just about to find out. Lastly, we have the honorable and most enthralling mention carved in plaster and found in Rome once again. It is a most curious and comic scribbling, and its irreverence is startling. We actually favor a dating to perhaps the late 1st century, though others would argue a more likely 2nd, whilst academic convergence on the date puts it around the 3rd, plaster being hard to date. The reason for this is that it depicts Jesus in an extremely provocative manner, with a donkey head upon a cross, along with some extremely crude graffiti written below it. The graffiti itself reads, Alexamenos worships his God, in Greek. The implication being Alexamenos was a Christian. To think that this is potentially the earliest archaeological evidence of Jesus found in Rome no less, is an unwanted blemish upon the Christian church and succinctly demonstrates the ire Rome had for Christianity in early times. Though real persecution is hard to find with any institutional consistency, and I will go into this later, the martyrdom stories often turn out to be not strictly true, embellished and often fabricated, but we'll go into that. I've written books on it. It's very interesting. Christianity was surely not respected much in this era, but why the donkey? Being possibly the oldest known depiction, a blatant caricature and definitely irreverent, it has an interesting side story. And I haven't finished this. This is why it's highlighted. So the childlike graffiti may be inadvertently conveying something that slips the attention of many people in Bible studies, and it has to do with the donkey-headed portrayal of this Jewish deity. The argument for its relatively early date is bolstered by the fact that, and I'm just going to freestyle here, the Jews are quite likely related to the Hyksos dynasty of Egyptian pharaohs, and I have covered this in earlier videos that I did quite a long time ago. I'm just going to shut that down now, and we're going to open this up again so you can see my wonderful face. So they worshipped, among other gods, the god Set, and Set had a donkey head. So the Jews at this time and the Romans the Romans at this time would have potentially seen the Jews as worshippers of a donkey-headed god. And Set, Seth, and the Sethian, and Set here was not a very nice god. He was a storm god, a volcano god, a desert god, god of foreigners. Now that has an implication there for Jews in Egypt. So lots of Greeks at the time in Alexandria, Greeks living around Africa would have looked at the Jews, looked at what they were worshipping, and quite potentially seen their god as this Egyptian-style god. Who had a donkey head and who was not particularly nice. This has a resonance in the Old Testament, given that we've already, I think this, have we done that yet? Video. The Old Testament God was not particularly nice. He was jealous. He is genocidal. He's not very nice. And their god, the Hyksos god, was cut from a similar kind of mythological cloth, if you like. So that depiction there of the donkey-headed God in Jesus, and remember Jesus, I and the Father are one, tends to maybe, we can tend a hypothesis that was how Romans in the early times would have seen Jesus Christ. And of course, it's a comic, Alexamenos, what a fool. He's worshipping his God, this Jesus character. He's with a donkey head because he's Jehovah. And Jehovah was, I think Set, lots of people are now saying this Set God was so close to in the manner and the history of these mythologies. And of course, the Egyptians had, if you're looking at the Hyksos pharaohs, which were probably the kind of precursors to the Jews, they circumcised their young, they had side curls, they were called the shepherd kings. Again, please check some of my earlier videos on this, because the evidence for these connections is quite fairly substantial. Anyway, I don't want to make this go any longer than 20 minutes. So please enjoy that. I hope that was okay. I know it was a bit clunky. Apologize for that. But yeah, we have again the first 11 depictions. They're fairly scant. None of them appear to date to the 1st century, but the plaster one with the donkey head might. And we know that Jehovah God was depicted by others who didn't like the Jews very much, unfortunately. as this donkey-headed god, because he was related to Set. He had the same characteristics. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying these videos. I'm going to keep them coming apace. I'm going to redo these in the future and make them really, really cool and beautiful and kind of funky and poppy and all that. But right now, I just want to get some material out. So have a great day, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Peace and love. Yeah.